remember I did a couple of things, one called the Transporter.
Oh yeah.
And when I did that, I mean, they literally
Just do
they
it.
couldn't afford a stunt double. So it was like I did almost every little piece that I could do, I did.
He was the driver, the rule breaker, the face of a franchise built on precision and discipline. But behind the wheel of a global hit, Jason Statham made a sudden turn and never came back. The official explanation? A polite fantasy wrapped in studio-approved language, scheduling conflicts, creative differences. But none of it was true. Hollywood rarely tells the truth, because the real reason Statham left the transporter wasn't a scandal, ego, or a dramatic on-set explosion. It was something far colder. In this video, we unveil the truth behind the driver who walked away from his own franchise. To the public, the system looked flawless. The transporter was lightning in a bottle. Fast cars, clean violence, and a hero who spoke more with his fists than his words. And at the center of it all was Jason Statham. Frank Martin wasn't just a character, he was a brand, a blueprint for a new era of practical action heroes. But inside the machine, something was shifting. By the time Transporter 2 wrapped, Statham had become far more than the scrappy British newcomer Luc Besson discovered. He was a rising global name, one capable of carrying entire franchises. And with that rise came a simple, dangerous realization. Frank Martin could be more. Smarter stunts, sharper choreography, better writing. Statham wanted evolution. The producers wanted repetition. They believed the formula was the star. He believed the performance was. This was the first fracture. Small, quiet, invisible from the outside, but deep enough to split the road ahead. When talks for the continuation of the franchise began, the room was no longer warm. The producers came with confidence. Statham's team came with questions. But the real shock wasn't creative. It wasn't even personal. It was contractual. The producers wanted Statham to sign a 3-film deal, Transporter 4, 5, and 6, without a single script written. No outlines, no story direction, nothing. Just a blind commitment to 3 movies. On top of that, the offer was a pay cut. Not a small one, but a massive reduction from what he was worth on the open market. According to Statham himself, the number they offered was a pittance compared to his typical fee. A deal so lopsided, it read less like a contract and more like a warning. He wasn't being valued as the face of the franchise. He was being priced like a background extra. And that flipped the entire negotiation on its head. The final meeting wasn't explosive. It wasn't loud. It was quiet. Too quiet. The producers presented their ultimatum: sign the 3-film contract with no scripts or walk. No room for revision, no interest in compromise, just a hard line drawn across the table. To them, Statham was an employee, a replaceable part in a larger engine. To Statham, it was a matter of professional respect. He wasn't going to gamble 3 years of his career on unwritten movies, and he wasn't going to take a financial hit to do it. So he stood, thanked the room, and left. No theatrics, no echoing threats. Just a door closing on a franchise that didn't realize it had just lost its heart. Inside EuropaCorp, panic hit fast. Their star was gone. Their next trilogy had no lead, and their schedules and financiers were depending on him. Meetings piled up, phone calls flew, emails turned frantic. The strategy they landed on was simple: recast immediately. The message they wanted to send was even simpler. No actor is bigger than the system. Ed Skrean's name rose to the top. Young, talented, cheaper. He fit the studio's new direction. More control, less cost. But the decision wasn't about shaping the future. It was about proving a point. They believed the Transporter brand could survive without Statham. They believed wrong. When the press releases went out, they were immaculate. Scheduling issues, mutual decision to part ways, a fresh creative direction, perfect Hollywood lies. Smooth, polished, harmless. Behind the scenes, the tone was nothing like the press releases. Statham's camp felt the recast was a slap in the face, a deliberate move to erase his contribution. The producers saw Statham's departure as disloyal, ungrateful, a betrayal after they believed they made him. Two sides, no communication, only silence. And in Hollywood, silence is rarely peaceful. It usually means war. Then came the transporter refueled. Ed Skrein stepped into the suit. The studio pushed their marketing hard. They believed the franchise name alone would carry it. But audiences made their verdict instantly. The film crashed, critically, commercially, globally. The numbers were brutal. The reception, even worse. Transporter 4 wasn't just a flop, it was treated like a counterfeit. The charm was gone, the precision was gone, the identity was gone, and the studio's message of, "We don't need Statham," fell apart overnight. Inside Jason Statham's circle, there was no celebration, just a cold truth. He had been right about the contract, about the scripts, about his value. The short-term fallout was devastating, not for him, but for the franchise that tried to replace him.
Statham didn't slow down. He didn't look back. While the reboot collapsed, he surged forward. He joined the Expendables, then Fast and Furious, then Hobbs Shaw. His market value exploded. His star power grew. His global recognition skyrocketed. Meanwhile, the Transporter franchise faded into silence. A reboot attempt, a TV show, a few streaming releases, none made a fraction of the impact the original trilogy did. None filled the void he left. Hollywood noticed, executives noticed, and the producers who once believed they could do it without him felt the long-term consequences in every failed attempt to revive what Statham built. The biggest misconception about Jason Statham's exit is that he left because of ego, but the truth, the real truth, is cleaner. He left because he refused to be undervalued. He refused to sign 3 unwritten films. He refused a pay cut disguised as a business opportunity. He refused to commit blindly to a system that didn't respect him as a partner. It wasn't personal. It wasn't emotional. It was professional. A man protecting his legacy. A performer protecting his craft. A businessman protecting his worth. And the fallout of that decision shaped the careers, the franchises, and the reputations that followed. He didn't abandon the Transporter. He simply refused to be trapped by it. And in doing so, he changed the trajectory of his entire career. Jason Statham walked away from one franchise and became a cornerstone of 2 of the biggest action empires of the last decade. The Transporter didn't survive without him, but he thrived without it. And that is the final truth. If you want more real Hollywood stories, the secrets behind the smiles, and the fallout behind the fame, subscribe to Cinema Fallout. Hit the bell, because the next exposé is already loading, and you don't want to miss what drops next.